Alrighty, let's re-record this real quick, make it nice and sweet, because I made the last one a bit too long. I'm not going to be talking about warrior stuff specifically, just talking about the Crest Upgrade system and an improvement to the Great Vault that I think would be worth everybody's time. Basically, right now, I would need to do, if we did the math, I'd need 260 more aspect crests at completing 12 dungeons each. Would mean I'd need to do another 22 dungeons before I got any Worm's Crest to be able to upgrade any of this hero track gear that I've currently farmed, right? So this is actually pretty problematic because it means I would need to do 22 more dungeons before I can actually effectively upgrade my gear. One of the things that they do in this game is they essentially always want you to complete the highest difficulty activity. And by doing so, you should be able to get most of the weekly rewards that are associated with it. Let's take a look at the Great Vault as an example. The Great Vault, to get the full stack of rewards, you need to have done 8 dungeons. Oh, but let's see. Let's look at the number. 8 times 12. Well, that is, just a little over your weekly cap of 90, technically, right? So by doing your 8 dungeons, you are thereby doing your weekly cap of dungeons, you're doing your weekly cap of your Great Vault, and you'd be weekly capping your crest. However, because they have implemented a couple systems into the game that I think are okay, but I don't think they're good enough, is the ability to upgrade your crests and the ability to... So it's the ability to upgrade your Dreaming Crests, right? And the ability to, when you cap out the season maximum of Dreaming Crests, that you start getting Worm's Crests. Because right now, what I need is Worm's Crests. So because I need Worm's Crests, I would have to either go do Heroic Raid, which I don't really want to do on this whole character, or I would need to have finished this weekly cap. Like right now, 22 dungeons, it's a lot, but it's doable. But let's think about later on in the season. Let's see if someone just wants to play Mythic Plus. They have made changes to the game that's, hey, if you want to be a Mythic Pluser, if you want to be a Raider, you should be able to do those things specifically because that's the game modes you want to put your time and effort into, right? That's why they updated the Catalyst system. That's why it's week 1. Yada yada. So I think what they should do instead with this system is every time you do something at max level, you get the rewards from everything below it. So for example, if I did my 8 Mythic Plus dungeons a week at plus 16 or higher, that would give me all 90 aspect, all 90 worms, drakes, and whelpling. It would somewhat invalidate the ability to upgrade crests. Currently, the upgrade rate that you get right now is 6-1. So if I got enough gear in each slot to invalidate these Drake's crests and invalidate these whelplings, let's say, so we'll divide these by 6, and then that's 19. So that's 203 plus 19. Divide that by 6 because it is 6 to uptrade. That is 37. I would get 37 Worm's Crests from all of these other crests. That's 2 upgrades worth. It's nothing. It's not much at all. So while the system is there, I think it's actually pretty restrictive. And especially when we talk about newer characters coming in a couple weeks, this cap is going to could be upwards of 700 in a couple weeks. So let's say we do 700 divided by 12 per dungeon. That means you need to do 60 dungeons just to get to the cap. And that's just to get to the cap so you can start earning Worm's Crest because you've capped your season maximum. That is where I think it's a problem. That is why I think that you should get all versions of the crests from the content you're currently doing, because it de-incentivizes playing other characters. It is the same issue in Season 1 and Season 2, where, let's say you wanted to make a crafted piece of gear because they were so strong. In Season 2, they alleviated a little bit, but in Season 1, you had to do 10 dungeons to create one crafted piece of gear. For your main, whatever. For alt, terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't know if the ability to get additional Worm's Crests from completing dungeons should be a baseline mechanic, or it should be something that after you've passed those thresholds, like I've passed the threshold and I got the achievement on my main character for not needing Worm's Crests anymore. So after that is achieved on my main, should that unlock the ability to get Worm's Crest from all content for my alts, maybe? Maybe that's a fix, so at least you're not invalidating all of that. Or it's showing, hey, I already did the work, now I'm just playing alt, right? So you're not having to do all of that stupid grind again. And this would also go alongside with what they want to do, and especially stuff like the legendary content, right? With the current legendary content, it's like, hey man, do you want to get the legendary? Just do the highest content available to you. It culminates all of your chances and gives you lesser or greater fragments based on that. Just do the highest content. Because having to farm LFR into normal, into heroic, into mythic would be asinine. And they know that. So they know they're trying to set it up. So build it up to where you're just doing the highest content, right? It should be the same way with Mythic Plus. I don't think they need these Crest upgrade, downgrade systems. I think it's a complete and utter waste of time. And they should just let you get all the crests from doing the highest content. The only other thing I think they should change is they should add a new item to this token exchange vendor that allows you to put a random tertiary stat on your gear. It should cost 6, which means it will cost every chance is a single week. So you're not going to really be able to do this a lot. And it would also mean you wouldn't be taking a single slot or a socket, which are probably way bigger DPS upgrades than any form of upgrade you'd get from a tertiary slot of gear. So I think that by adding an item here that lets you put a random tertiary set on your gear, it towards the end of the season allows you to really min-max your gear and would be pretty good for you. And it would also mean, because they have reduced the amount of raid tokens that you get from the raid, so let's say Ignara only drops 1 token every kill on Mythic, that's the only way, by getting that token and then being able to roll tertiary on it, to get tertiary on that gear. Because even if you kill Farak and you get these Mythic Curios, these Mythic Curios are a 1-to-1 trade, and you don't actually get a chance to add tertiaries from there. So I think they should add a tertiary adding item onto the Great Vault vendor for the longevity of the gear of the patch. So anyway, I'm about to run this dungeon, but I just wanted to spit a little bit on that because I think it would be just way better for everybody who's just wanting to play the game to be able to do that with their gear. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good one. Peace.